honey, welcome back. So I am getting ready for work. I'm working from home today. I don't have much going on. I have some clients, and then I have I think one of my clinical supervisees today to supervise, and then I have my own therapy. But I figured I would sit down quickly and do a look. I have one of my clients has somehow been influenced by me around Pat McGrath, and so they're always able to tell if I have on Pat McGrath, and so of course I try to wear the Dame whenever we are working together. So I actually pulled out some of her previous holiday palettes. I'm not gonna talk about the one for this year. So I'm thinking of using either Celestial Nirvana or Celestial Odyssey. I think this one is giving more fall. What do you think? Let me hold up the other one. I need to hurry up. I don't know why these seem so hard to open. I'm breaking body parts over here. Maybe that one looks more fall. Maybe I'll use both. I don't know. Okay, maybe we'll go with this one. This is the Celestial Odyssey one. Alright, so I'm going to use my Pat McGrath eyeshadow primer. If I can figure out where I put it. I actually took the stopper out of it yesterday because I felt like for some reason I was running out of it. I might not be, but it felt like it. So let's see. And when I mean I took the stopper out, you know, when you have something like this in this kind of packaging, there's usually a stopper here. And you can either use like some needle nose pliers. Yes, I know what that means. Or a pair of tweezers. So I initially started with the pliers, but I was having a hard time grabbing onto it for some reason. So then I just went in with some tweezers. All right, so let's go ahead and put this on. Probably towards her holiday sale time, I'll get another one of these. I've been enjoying it. I also still have the Artistry wand. I like that one too. So just apply that to my eyes, and let's see what we want to use. I'm feeling drawn to this shade here, but also the green. Maybe I can use the green as an inner corner. Darn, but I kind of like this shade too. Oh, all right. I think I'll just start with this one here. Y'all remember how we were talking about the Cheesecake Factory because homegirl didn't want to get out the car for her date? There was another Cheesecake Factory story, y'all, and I feel bad for they're not getting really good PR right now. So I was just reading casually, as I do, the news when I'm not reading a book or watching TV or, you know, whatevs, taking a nap with Rosé. And there was a story, like everybody's commenting about homegirl not getting out the car to go to Cheesecake Factory. And I guess people are coming out with their like random stories about the Cheesecake Factory. And this one, I was starting to laugh about it. And then I realized it wasn't funny. But this one woman, she shared a story of, she went to the Cheesecake Factory and she was getting Parmesan like put onto her pasta dish. So you know how at the Cheesecake Factory, I ask if you want cheese or Parmesan or whatever, and they come with like the grater and then like the block of cheese, right? And they'll do it like this on top of your dish. What I also learned looking at the news, is that you should not, when you go to Italy, when we go to Italy, whenever that'll be, you shouldn't automatically put Parmesan on top of your dish if you're eating like a pasta dish at an Italian restaurant, because the chef plates it the way they want you to eat it. So, note to you. And if I ever go to Italy, pray that I do, just for funsies. I'm gonna remember that. Anyway, so she asked for cheese on her pasta dish, and the waiter was scraping the cheese, but his hand slipped. His hand slipped, and the cheese hit her in the face, and she like, boom, like that, on the booth. Y'all, she says she got a concussion from that. I didn't even know cheese was that deadly. I mean, I guess the cheese itself didn't give her the concussion, but like, it was the triggering factor, right? Like, she wasn't gonna have a concussion if the cheese hadn't flew out his hand and landed on her head, her forehead, and just knocked her back. So I guess she went to the doctor, and they were like, girl, you have a concussion. She was like, I didn't sue, but I guess I could have. Y'all, I'm gonna go in with this shade from Celestial Nirvana. Would you have sued? Like, I might have. I'm just thinking of the court case. Ooh, like, could you imagine like testifying as to your pain and suffering and like what happened? I can't be on this jury. I can't be on this jury because it's not funny, but it's funny. You know, it's only funny because she's okay, I assume. Actually, concussions can have really long-standing negative impact because it's a traumatic brain. Anyway, I don't know. Tell me if you would sue. Given that it's the Cheesecake Factory, maybe, because they can afford it, I assume. But I probably would just be, oh my God, it's okay. As they're like birds flying around my head like in the cartoons. I don't know. But then I saw that people in the comments were sharing like other experiences, and it's not good. Like, I still want to go to the Cheesecake Factory, but I feel like now I'm on high alert. But at least 2 people said that they found like plastic gloves, not plastic. What are those? The medical grade gloves. You know what I'm talking about. I don't know why I can't think of the exact name. Like baked into their pasta. So like they went to eat it, and it like and it was like this is like chewier than it should be, and it was a glove. So I guess the way that the Cheesecake Factory settles things is that they'll give you like a gift card. So they gave these people with the glove and the pasta a $250 gift card. I'm not quite sure that feels like I don't know if that feels like enough. I don't know what would, like, I don't know what price would, but a $250 gift card to the Cheesecake Factory, of which I am now a little traumatized. I'm not sure that's enough. I don't know. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I feel like you need to give me just a little bit more. But let me know what you would do. Let me know if you would sue. We've already talked before about how litigious our society can be, but I'm curious. Let me know if you would sue. Like, what kind of lawyer would you need? What kind of lawyer would you need for that? Anyway, So there was something else, another injury that I read about. And I'm going to go back into Celestial Nirvana and I think take this shade here. This lady went on safari. Now, she went in Thailand, and they were having, what was it called? Like, you know, little excursions, and you could ride an elephant. So she's like super excited, but also a little nervous, you know, like it's a little nerve-wracking, lots of adrenaline pumping. So there was a like full-size adult elephant and then like a baby elephant. So the lady and her friend, one of her girlfriends, they get on the adult elephant, and then their other friend on her own gets on the baby elephant. Okay, so they start, there's like a guide who like holds, I guess, whatever is a leash. I'm not even sure, but the guide holds something on the elephant. Did I say escalator or elevator before? Oh no, lots of E words going on in my head. Anyway, so the lady, she thought there would be like some kind of stair thing for them to climb up, but she was like, it was a plank. It was a plank that she just had to climb up onto the elephant. I keep wanting to say escalator and elevator. So that happened. And she said that as soon as she got up there, she felt like something was off. Y'all, we gotta listen to that intuition, that gut feeling. She felt like something was off, but she was like, whatevs, you know, let's go. So they're just trotting along, not really trotting. You know, I don't think elephants trot, do they? I don't know. So she's going along and she hears the elephant growl and she feels it because it's like through her body, you know, because the elephant's body. So it's like a rumbling, you know, and she's like, I didn't even know elephants could growl. Me neither, girl. I didn't know they could. Just like I didn't know cats could growl, but I swear I heard Rose growl before. So, she is on the elephant and she see like the elephant goes like this, looking towards the guide. Y'all, the guide, she said his face went white and homeboy ran. He took off. He Sir, you're fired. Like, he took off, but actually, you know, I would have done it too. He took off running. So then the elephant starts chasing, and those elephants are what, like 12,000 tons? They're huge. So the elephant starts running after the guide, and somehow she doesn't know, the woman doesn't know if the elephant like bucked them off or if they just kind of like flew off. So she must have been like caught in the turmoil and the tumble, and the elephant picks her up with its trunk and is just swinging her just from side to side and up and down, just swinging, okay? Like every bone in her body breaks. She said she couldn't feel it, but she could hear it. So her like pelvic bone, her leg bones, her ribs, everything's just cracking. And she's like on the ground, just like in a pile of like human skin. And she sees the elephant above her and she's like, that's it. I'm gonna die. This is how I'm gonna go out. But then all of a sudden the elephant leaves. She don't know what happened. But the Lord done came down with his angels and saved her somehow. I was like, see, you only have to tell me once. You don't have to tell me twice. I'm not going to ride an elephant. I'm just not gonna do it. I mean, we do too much to elephants and all these other animals. We just do too much. But girl, when I read that, I like hand over my heart gasped audibly. And she lived to tell the story, honey. She lived, oh my bad. She lived to tell the story. She almost didn't. I don't think you can come back from an elephant attack. But also, I'm going in with the All Nighter Glow Primer from Urban Decay. Mind you, what is Urban Decay doing? What's this stuff they coming out with? But homegirl, like... See, okay, and then I was reading more. This just feels like it wasn't like a sanctioned thing. It just feels like if a couple of us were like, we got an elephant, why don't we charge for these people to go ahead and ride it? You know, it just felt like not professional, I guess. So she found out that this elephant had been borrowed from the town over. So the elephant was like stressed and in distress and anxious, which I understand. Elephant was probably having a panic attack like I did the other day. So the elephant was like distressed because they were in a different environment, in a different atmosphere. I just feel like a little bit more thought should have gone into that. Yeah. But that elephant nearly took her out, y'all. So she had to be in like physical therapy, and like her glasses broke, which is like the least of the concerns. Yeah, I just thought that was crazy. And it you know, that's the only PSA, public service announcement, I need to not get my behind on an elephant. So I think I'm going to go in, do I want to do that? With the KVD Good Apple foundation. Now I have 2 shades because I struggle to find the correct shade with this KVD foundation. Like, so I have Tan 76 and Deep 84, and I just combine them. So hopefully that comes out with the right tune. So I'm just putting a bit on this little palette here that I have. All right. So let me tell you what's going on TikTok, even though I don't have TikTok. So here is the little palette I use, put the foundation on there, and I'm using this Rose and Ben foundation brush. It is C42. So on TikTok, people are sharing stories, and I think it's also across YouTube, of trauma dumping when they're in the drive-through of like fast food restaurants. And I was like, what? Like, I don't understand. And so there have been a couple of people who have filmed themselves doing this. I don't condone this. I think it's stupid, plain and simps. So this guy films himself driving up to the drive-through window, and he's like, my car was stolen, then I got jumped by my girlfriend, like, what do you think I should do? And the first person, I don't know who was first and who was second, but they're both iconic. Let's go with the woman. The first woman, she was quiet on the intercom. And she's like, do you want to order something? And he's like, yeah, girl, I do. But like, you know, what do you think I should do? And she's like, I don't care about your life. Best response ever. She is not paid to be your drive-through therapist. It's not within her job description at all. They didn't tell her that she had to do that. So I was like, I'm thinking also, are you gonna order something, or like, what are we doing here? Why are you doing this? Call your therapist, okay? Now he did it again because apparently he doesn't want to leave well enough alone. So he goes, I'm guessing it's a different place, or maybe he just went a different day to the same place. And he tells the person that answers, this time it's a man. And he's like, my car got stolen, blah, blah. And dude was like, the guy on the intercom, he was like, oh man, for real? Like, I totally understand. Like, my car got stolen once before. That sucks. And talking about the relationship stuff. And the guy in the car is like, so I really need some friends. Will you be my friend? That sounds inappropriate. Like, it sounds like what they used to warn us about when we were younger. Like, if somebody says, like, help me find a puppy, or do you want to be my friend, that is a sign that you should just not. So the worker is like, oh, you don't want me to be your friend. And homie is like, why? And the worker is like, I'm a killer. And he's like, yeah, you don't want to be my friend, man. I'm a killer. And he's like, yeah, I make like 25,000. Like, I'm hired to kill people. And like, I've got some priors. He's like, I'm only working here at McDonald's so I can get like a tax return. And he's like, but I hope you find your car, man. That's what happens when you trauma dump. You don't know what you're gonna get. Okay, that's why y'all need to be doing that to these people. They don't listen. They are not paid enough to be a drive-through therapist. They are not paid enough, and that's what I would tell people. Do not come in here trauma dumping. I'm not paid enough to do this with you. Okay, I'm going to go in with the Marc Jacobs Extra Shot Concealer. I really like this concealer. Like I think Marc Jacobs is coming back in next year or the year after. I really hope they do because this is one of my favorite concealers. So I actually have two shades. I have Deep 410 and then I have Tan 390. So you can see one is a little deep. This one's a little deeper than that one. So let's see what's working for me today. Let's start with the tan one. Now, here's a story, like serious, want to know what you're gonna, I want to know what you would do in any of these situations. But this one is one that I have personally experienced in my lifetime. So I could really resonate with it in a way. It's not the exact same thing. So there's this YouTube couple, I guess, and they started dating, I think in 2021 or something, and they now have a little daughter. And I guess they've been talking about, you know, status of their relationship, what's happening next. So I guess the plan is to, at some point, marry. But the problem, like the woman is like, he won't ask me to marry him because I don't want to take his last name. And so they are just really struggling to come to you know, an understanding on this. She was like that she would hyphenate, so have her last name hyphen his last name. He doesn't like that. He feels like that would make her like half his wife, and he feels like she should take his name. Now, full transparency, I had this conversation before when I was engaged to be married long ago, girl. No, I won't tell you that. I won't tell you that. And so my reasoning that I didn't want to completely drop my last name, my reasoning was I was in grad school. I was starting my like research line and being published with my last name. And so I was like, this is, you know, part of my career is, this is involved in my career. Everything that I'm doing in terms of getting things published, in terms of presentations, all that stuff, that is like my professional brand, so to speak. And, you know, I was willing to do a hyphen, or I was like, I can take my last, my last name as my middle name and then, you know, have the person's last name. Or I was like, I can remain my name professionally, like within the professional field. And then outside of that, like, I'm fine being, you know, Shawnee, your last name. And that was not received very well, which was one of the first signs where I was like, huh. Now, I'm not opposed. I think everyone should do whatever they want to do, but I do wonder what you all think about it. And this woman, this young woman who doesn't want to take her partner's last name, she's like, this is part of my identity, blah, blah, blah. And I felt very much the same. Like, there hasn't been anyone who's graduated with a PhD in my, like, familial line, you know? And so for me, we would have gotten married before I graduated. So it would have been his last name after doctor. I didn't want that. I worked real hard to get here, and like, I don't know. Maybe that's, some people will not agree, which I totally honor and respect your opinion. I didn't want to lose like all the hard, I don't know. I didn't want to lose like all the hard work. This is how I was kind of like making it make sense in my head. It just felt like it would take away from everything I did. I just wanted to graduate with my name. My name. You know what I mean? I just felt like it's not like, what am I trying to say? It just felt really important to me to have my name to be a representative of my family. And again, I would have been fine hyphenating all kinds of stuff, but I just needed my name to be called out, my family name to be called out during graduation. And Helen Dude cannot accept that. So now, that's why I resonate with this woman, this couple, because I've literally been there before. And it was a sign of, stuff. So yeah, I'm wondering, what would you do in that situation? Because there are so many things I'm like, taking the name doesn't, like, it doesn't make me more or less of your partner or your wife, whatever. But I guess people could say that about keeping your name. Like, it doesn't make you more or less part of your family, or more or less a doctor. You know what I mean? I don't know. Tell me what you think. I know in some cultures, the man takes the woman's family name. And I have a friend, we went to high school together. Her husband took her name. Her last name, just like a lot of differences. I mean, this is such a long-standing like social norm, you know. I think more and more people are kind of talking about not doing that, but I think we were both, when I was in that situation, we were both having a hard time understanding the other one's perspective, but I do think I was the only one willing to compromise. And it seems like that's the case for this couple. That's something to certainly talk about, though, when you're in a relationship. Like, it's interesting because there are a lot of traditions, I guess, that people don't want to let go of. But I don't know. Like, I really want to know. I really want to know what you think and what you would do, what you have done. I find it curious. I hadn't really heard of anyone else having this conversation. So when I read that, I was like, wow, I'm not the only one that had this. I mean, now my career is established. I don't know that I would mind now. I mean, I'm gonna still use my name. I'm gonna still use my name in professional settings. Like, I don't know. And you know what? That's how it's been modeled for me. With my like grad school advisor and other women in the field, that's sort of how it's been modeled for me. There are some people who will take on their partner's name. But mostly what I've seen is women, because it seems like that's the main thing. But it doesn't have to just be heterosexual couples. But yeah, like this idea of you have to take my name because that means you're mine, you know? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the By Terry, hyaluronic acid powder, or hyaluronic tinted hydro powder. And this is in the shade 500 medium deep. Gorgeous. Oops. I liked it last week because it gave like a more hydrated kind of look. And I'm going to take this small Danessa Myricks, oh snap, and I'm just going to take it off of my hand and from my vanity and set my under eyes. Can't let that powder go to waste, girl. Y'all, what is happening with teachers? Are y'all okay? Are y'all okay? Because I've been seeing so many stories about teachers just like losing their mind. There was a story, I think it was on like CNN, where this person, like, apparently it's easier if you just resign from a position rather than waiting to be fired. But this teacher of like young kids, I think they said it was a woman, she gave the kids melatonin. And she didn't tell nobody she was giving the children melatonin. I don't know how people found out, but the parents were upset. Like, you can't just be giving kids stuff. I mean, I think the research is like, you know, it's okay in like small quantities, not a regular thing. But why? Why would you think that's okay? Why would you think that's okay? You parents, let me know what you would do if you found out that your child's like teacher was giving that kid melatonin during the day. I feel like some of y'all would go crazy. I really do. I feel like that teacher would have to watch her back. I feel like some of y'all would be ready, okay? Ready for a fight. I'm going in with the Colored Rain bronzer in Naughty Spice. And I'm using this Rose and Bend brush C40. I really like the curve of it. I think it makes it perfect for like bronzer and such. Ooh, I know some of y'all would be upset. And you know what makes it even, I don't know if it makes it worse, but a little crueler was that it was to special education students, like special needs students. That's not okay. Now, I have several friends or family members that work with special needs children, and it can be difficult. Working with kids, being in education is difficult, period, you know? Period, end of sentence, end story. And I can understand that it can be a bit difficult, but it's never okay to do stuff like that. And there was another story where this teacher, I guess one of the kids, they're in like behavior modification class, and they were having like disruptive behavior, and the teacher like dragged the child, again, another like student that is in alternative class, dragged the child and threw the little boy in the seat. And so he went home and had like a big old Band-Aid on his leg, and his mom was like, what happened? And I guess the little boy told her, and she was PISSED, which again, I would be too. And so it seems like initially, I'm going in with the Milani Cheek Kiss blush in Blushing Berry. It seems like the mother was willing to be like, if you apologize to me, if you apologize to my child, you know, I won't take it any further. Better than me, girl. Better than me. But I guess the teacher didn't or wouldn't or something. So the mother pressed charges. And I think the teacher might have to go to jail. Definitely has a fine. But I'm like, why didn't you just say sorry? Like, I don't know. Why didn't you just say sorry? I kind of want a bit of this shade too. This is Coral Crush. So, of course, it's more of a coral shade. But I'm just going to put a little bit of that on. And I'll definitely blend it out. Did that break off? Lord. Okay. Now here's something that I feel is going to like exonerate me for certain things. There are 2 stories of people getting lost, and I was gonna say I haven't gone this far before, but I kind of. Okay, so there is one story where this lady was just driving her car in the US, and she notices all of a sudden that she's at the Canadian border. And I'm going to take this Dior powder, the Backstage powder. Mine is in the shade 6N, 6 Neutral. And taking this, I believe it's a Blend Bunny, yes, B5 brush. And I'm going to use it to just blend the top of this to soften that right there. So she's driving, and like her experience really highlights what people say about Canadians being like super nice. So she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to come this way. I've done that before. And the, I guess, border person was like, oh, well, you know, I'll have you turn around. You can be on your way. But he goes, you know, there's going to be a lot of traffic if you do that right now. Do you want to like come in and just take a look around for a while? I'm sorry. That is so nice. So she went on through. She went to buy souvenirs. She went to the movies. Like, she really, you know, boosted. She played her part in boosting the economy. And then after a while, when traffic died down, she went about her business and went back to the U.S. I'm telling you, Canadians take the cake for being awesome and nice. Like, who does that? How do you trust that? How do you trust that she's gonna come back? He was just like, there's gonna be traffic. You wanna, like, you know, just come in and hang out for a little bit. I love that. I mean, I'm guessing they don't recommend that, but that's super nice. Girl, try to do that with the US of A. It's not gonna work, baby. It's not gonna work. Okay, what mascara do I want to use? I'm going to use the Huda Beauty One Coat. It is in the shade Very Banta. So the other one was this woman trying to find a Home Depot. I understand. And all of a sudden, she's at the Mexican border. I think she was in Texas or somewhere. New Mexico. She was somewhere where you could drive to the Mexican border. It might have been San Diego. So she is like, this doesn't look like the way I'm supposed to go. Now, the officials at this border, they were a lot less like, come in and take a seat. They were like, they had dogs around her car. And they were looking at her like, uh-huh, sure. So she didn't have the same sort of reception, you know. But I think she managed to summon. She had her passport with her, which I guess is super smart. And so they let her like turn around. And then she was just like, that's okay. I'm not gonna look for the Home Depot. Like, I'm just gonna, we'll go to Lowe's or something. But my story is that when I was in Missouri for grad school, now I was in Columbia, Missouri. So that's like between, here's Columbia, here's St. Louis, here's Kansas City. So it's like between both, right? And I think I was going, where the F was I going? I was either going to visit someone or I was coming back from the airport. I don't know, but I was driving. And so, you know, Missouri is right next to Kansas. So I was driving, I was in Kansas City, and I started realizing, like, things were looking different, and for some reason, like, I wasn't in the right place. And there were no exits. There were no exits off the freeway, or whatever they call it in Missouri. So I'm driving in Kansas City. I'm supposed to be in Kansas City, Missouri. I was in Kansas City, Kansas. In my defense, they're right next to each other, okay? They're right next to each other. They're right. So, I saw Highway Patrol. They were like pulling someone over, and I'm like, bet I could just ask them. Now, this was before, this was, you know, a little bit before it probably wouldn't be smart to do this. I'm going to go in with this shade. Let's see what that does. I'm just going to use it in the inner corner. So Highway Patrol was pulling somebody over. So I go ahead and I pull in front of the Highway Patrol car. Because I'm like, I'm lost. I'm in a whole other state and I don't know how to get back. And obviously, if you don't help me somehow, I'm going to drive to California and I'm just going to go home. And so I'm sitting there just like waiting, and the Highway Patrol person finally comes to my car looking at me like, girl, what's happening? And I was like, hi, like I'm a grad student at University of Missouri, and like I was trying to be in Kansas City, Missouri, but I'm like, I'm not. I'm in Kansas City, Kansas. So I was like, can you help me get back? So when I tell you this lack of navigational skill, it's been present for a while. Like it's really not anything new. I'm gonna go in with this Ulta Beauty gel eyeliner in Wine Down. I really like Ulta's liners and Sephora's liners. Yep, I was in the wrong. But at least I have not driven to another country, okay? Accidentally. I'll drive to another state accidentally, but, well, I got one up on these ladies. But I also just feel like if I came on here and was like, y'all, guess what happened? I feel like no one would be surprised. So thanks guys for believing in me. Now I'm going to go in with the Oma Beauty powder. This is their Trippin' Smooth powder and I'm using it in Rich Tan. I just want to give myself a little bit of setting in these other areas. Giving them face. Do I want like a burgundy lip? Ooh, girl, that's, oh, well, now we're gonna go for it. That's the green. I didn't mean to do that, but hey. I'm gonna use this. This is from CXC. This is from my friend Jessel Jaguar, and it's the shade Strength. Let's see what this looks like. Very cute. Let's do that. And then go in with this LA Girl Shockwave Nude Liner in Chai Latte. And I kind of want to top it off with something a little orangey. So I'm going to go in with the cream blush in Spicy, from Colored Rain. Just going to tap into that and see how we change the color a little bit. Alright, so hopefully you enjoyed getting ready with me and chatting. I don't think I really have anything to edit with this, so maybe this will go tomorrow. Alright, let's see, everything looks good. There's powder everywhere. Alright. Okay, so here is the finished look. Time for me to get downstairs and get ready to therapize people. Hopefully some of this was helpful. Hopefully you are continuing to take care of yourself, and I am taking care of myself, in case you were wondering. Be sure to like the video. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you would do in these various situations. Yeah, I really want to know. So we had the lady who got bopped in the head with the Cheesecake Factory cheese. We had the lady who was riding the elephant. What else do we have, y'all? We had the trauma dumping in the drive-through fast food places. I want to know what y'all would do if your child's teacher gave them melatonin or snatched them up real fast. And have you ever gotten significantly lost? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.